sliding door, will ya?
Hi. Hey. I'm Laura. I'm here to check out the room.
Oh, hi, I'm Sarah. Come in.
I think I've been speaking to Steve. Is he around?
Yeah, he's just,
Yeah, hey, sorry, it's just, hey, Steve.
Hey, Laura.
Laura, right, yeah. Hey, so, this is the lounge room. I'll show you around.
Right. Yep.
Kitchen's in here.
Wow. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good, I guess.
How did you find this place?
It's my mum's place, really, but she moved to London, so it's mine now.
Right.
Hey, is that it? Is that from a Third Reich poster?
No, it's Freddie Mercury from Queen.
Oh. Yeah, I thought it was something else. What's in here, fag? And this is the ballroom.
Wow. This is amazing. Do you guys use this for events or anything?
Yeah, we sometimes put uprising shows on in here.
Uprising?
Oh, that's Joe's band. He lives here too. That's his room. Just there.
Right.
So this is the room. You like it?
Yeah, it's massive. And it's $510 a month.
Yeah, it's a bargain. Hey Hitler, you little cutie.
do you want to hold him?
Yes.
So, a few things about us. We live out the back, so you won't see too much of us. I play a lot of video games. Sarah's usually with me. Oh yeah, sometimes we have friends over. They look a bit intimidating, but they're just punks, you know?
Yeah. I don't have any issues with punks as long as they're not white supremacist punks.
No neos, no.
What about Johnny?
Johnny doesn't come around here anymore. There's no neos.
Hey, do you think there's such a thing as a punk who isn't a neo-Nazi even though he has heaps of Aussie flags around his house?
It may be different to how you imagine. It may be different to what you fear. It is open. It is unwritten. It is open. It is unwritten. Feel that dread, it is real, but let it pass on through your head. Don't let it sit with us here in my only bed. It is open, it is unwritten. It is open, it is unwritten. It is always near, but never quite here. It is always near, but never quite here. never quite here. It is always near, but never quite here. Oh, oh, oh.
Hi there, we're at the Wesleyan and I'm talking with Pikelet, also known as Evelyn.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, how you going?
Good.
When you came up with the name Pikelet,
Yeah.
were you tossing up with other ones like pancake or frittata?
No.
Why did you settle on Pikelet?
Well, actually, it's a bit of a sad story.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's not that sad, actually, because my mum had breast cancer. That's the sad bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then I sort of wanted to give her something to try and make her feel better because I knew that would make her heal quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But I had no money, so I sort of gathered all this equipment from friends and made some recordings for her because she hated the punk music I made. She wanted to hear something else, so I made her some like pretty music.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sort of like a symbolic pikelet to her because she used to make pikelets for us out of like the leftover bits and pieces.
Oh,
was the
that's
things she made when she had no money. So the idea of it initially was just to make one CD for her.
Mm-hmm.
But then I liked doing it, so I kept going.
So did you learn instruments to take on the Pikelet persona?
Well, I mean, I already knew how to play piano because I started that when I was really small.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 3.5, I told my mum that I was going to be a concert pianist.
Mm-hmm.
But then concert piano is very hard. I realised when I was 12, and also I wanted to be cooler at school, so I started playing drums.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started playing in punk bands. And I needed to be cooler because I was getting bullied a lot.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, drums, that seems cool. Then I mucked that up and ended up playing in the jazz band, which wasn't cool. So over the years I've tried lots of different instruments, all in an effort to try and be cool, and failed. So
You're
that's
super cool. Stamp of approval.
that's a relief.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah. All you needed was me to tell you.
Yeah. This has been very cathartic.
It's okay. You're welcome.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
It was a pleasure.
Hope you
It
had
was a
good
pleasure.
time. It was a pleasure.
I said that like it was a question. And then I
It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
I was learning this morning that apparently when you do training to speak in an American accent, working on an American show, one of the techniques they get, because Australians go up at the end of each sentence, they get you to throw the ball at the end of it.
Oh.
Yeah. So you go,
I don't understand.
R2D2 drives a Jaguar. And something like that. You throw the ball. There's also another one where you put your fingers in your mouth and you go, oh, that's the first time I've done it. But when it was demonstrated to me, there were sounds made.
Yeah.
Just so you don't have a hard R. Jaguar. Jaguar.
Jaguar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of Jaguar?
Yeah. R2D2 drives a Jaguar?
I mean, Americans ask questions as well.
Maybe sometimes they do ask that question.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say goodbye.
Okay, bye.
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 Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Here we are in stunning Rowville North, just west of East Rowville and beside Mystic Mulgrave. Known for its poultry rendering plant and relaxed gun laws, this suburb also houses a museum of a different kind. Now, if only I knew where it was.
Hidden gems, hidden gems. Ooh. Hidden gems, hidden gems. Ooh, hidden gems.
So Michael, tell us all about the If Only Museum. I understand it's the only one of its kind in the world.
Yes.
So tell us about it.
It's a museum. It examines all the things I could have been if only one thing had been different.
Wow, that sounds like a big undertaking though.
No, it wasn't that hard. It started as part of my therapy.
Therapy! Wow, fun!
Yeah, I couldn't work out what I wanted to do with my life, so Dr. Ingrid had me imagine all the things I could have been if only one thing had been different. It was supposed to change my life, and I suppose it has, because now I have all of this.
Oh, you sure do. And tell me about this guy. What am I looking at here?
It's a picture of me inventing the light bulb. If only I had been born in another time, and if only I could invent things.
Well, you certainly look happy.
Yes, I do. I mean, wouldn't you look happy if every time anyone turned on a light they thought of you, Rory? I think about this one all the time. Well, Rory, let me show you the rest of my museum. Well, Rory, here's one of my favourite pieces. It's a statue made entirely of nuts. It's called If Only I Wasn't Allergic to Nuts. It's also called If Only I Could Make Statues.
Oh, I don't know, Michael. It looks pretty good to me.
Don't. This is a picture of me winning Australian Idol. If only I could sing.
Wow. I bet a lot of people have that dream, though.
Touchdown!
Sorry?
Touchdown! Touchdown! That's what Mark Holden would say to me.
Okay. Who's this guy, Michael? Let me guess. If only you could have a dog?
No, Rory. If only I was born a dog, a female one. Let me show you my waxworks of famous animals I'd sleep with if only they weren't dead.
Located just inside Michael's rented bungalow, the If Only Museum is open every day throughout the year. Entrance is only $2, but can be free if you agree to have a cup of tea with Michael afterwards. Well, I don't know about you guys, but a trip to a museum always leaves me feeling one thing: hungry. Thank you. And what better place to recharge those batteries than here at Big Clancy's Waffle Emporium. Built on the side of a former safe injecting room, the needles may be gone, but this place still knows how to make you feel pretty good. So if you'll excuse me, I need a dirty big hit of syrup before I hitchhike home. I'm Rory McClory, and I'll see you next time for more Hidden Gems.
Hidden gems. Ooh, hidden gems.
You're a funny little cat. You should smile, you're going to be on the television.
Okay, I'll start out this with a disclaimer because I'm under a palm tree. Okay, that's cliche. I'm going to talk about meditation. I'm sorry. I don't ever meditate under a palm tree, but aesthetically it looks good. If you want to practice formally, all you need to do is sit down somewhere, and a good way to do it is focusing on your breath. All you do is whenever your thoughts stray from focusing on your breath, you just come back to the breath. You might lose concentration 20 times in 5 seconds. That is fine. All you need to do is come back to the breath. That's it. It doesn't suit everyone to practice meditation formally. We're busy people, and even Buddha said that informal meditation is just as good as formal. So all you need to do, say you're at the shops, maybe you're driving a car, and you feel your body going, ugh, and getting angry, and in that moment, you can choose to just stop and go, oh, what's happening? That's meditation, you've already done it. Anytime you catch yourself thinking or catch yourself feeling, that's meditation. It's as simple as that.
So another place you can meditate is just on your bike
Obviously look for traffic, but if you basically just feel the wind, concentrate on what you're feeling and what you're hearing. So you're hearing the trees, you're hearing the wind, you're smelling people like making lunch or making dinner or whatever. That's my favourite, when you smell everyone's dinner smells when you ride home. And apart from meditation, another thing that's fun to do on your bike is just to close your eyes for as long as possible, to see how long you can do it for. Okay, I'm going to do it now. Oh, I'm using my hearing to navigate. Ah! Oh my God, it's really scary. That's how I get my adrenaline rush. So, the reason I'm telling you this is because if I didn't know meditation, I've been doing meditation since I was very young, I literally would probably be a drug addict right now, because I had a weird life, and meditation is what has enabled me to have a somewhat normal, not painless, very painful, but reasonably kind of happy life.
We met through mutual friends, and we sort of both were pursuing individual practices at that point. And we always sort of helped each other, but never really thought about becoming one artist.
It wasn't until we were approached by the Bakehouse Studios.
So the Bakehouse Studios asked about 9 artists to each make over one of their rehearsal rooms.
And they asked both of us to do a room together, and we formed a band within that.
We decided to do our glam rock fantasy SOS room.
It's about 7 meters long, and that's Will when he's red. I'm a lighter shade of blue.
What was funny is this work, was started off as just a visual artwork, and then we took this show down to Dark Mofo in Tasmania and brought SOS to life.
SOS stands for Style Over Substance.
We've both always loved glam rock, but we haven't studied music, or we don't really play instruments, but we love
Never
it.
written a song.
So it's a complete saturation of all the sensations except for music. When we did the show for Dark Mofo, the first minute they were like, something's wrong, there's no sound. And then once they clicked, they really went with it. We come up with costume ideas together, and we help each other with every element that we can, and also encourage each other to be more extreme, to say, let's push this further. Particularly now, we feel like times are actually getting more conservative, which is really scary. And so we need more of this escapism and art and being queer and aggressively,
What do we call ourselves? Gay terrorists.
Yeah. I think that we thought, the SOS project was something really fun, and it really started off, but we wanted to branch out from that, so you can't be silent forever. But it kind of led to, us pursuing all sorts of avenues as performance artists.
Yeah, for years now, Will and I have been working on this disaster fantasy series, and when we both met, we both realised we had this strange obsession when we were young, being involved in a disaster somehow. Maybe it's just because we grew up in these really banal suburban places that we just wanted something exciting to happen. And I think at the time when I was growing up, we had all those disaster movies, so it seemed a bit glamorous as well. We want to put that together in an exhibition and make some clothes for it.
We actually want to take the disaster fantasy work to a runway experience as well, where there are people running down the runway with bees attacking them, or throwing water on them, or on fire. We'd like to create that kind of spectacle in a live sense to go along with the imagery. We like to saturate the market with everything we do. It's good to not be afraid to try new things, and even if you fail looking spectacular. I feel like we're just going to keep going and keep trying new things, and trying to bring this excess and escapism to everything that we tackle.
Yeah.
And we've got each other, which helps.
We've got no one else, at least that.
Yeah.
G'day, we're at the gasometer and I'm talking with Witch Hats. Hi.
Howdy.
Hi.
Specifically, I'm talking with Matt, Rob, Ash, and Chris.
I'm actually Ash.
No, you're not.
Ah,
How you going?
pretty good, thanks. Have you been?
Great.
Yeah.
Very thrilled to have you guys on the show.
Thrilled to be here.
You're actually a long-time favourite band of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You kept that secret until this moment.
I'm
That's
really cool. No, I've emailed you before like a fangirl.
Oh, yeah. I think
Yeah.
I was telling you not to be so self-deprecating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, it's alright.
Sometimes I'm just such a
Why's the
loser.
show called Amateur Hour, though? Because you're clearly a professional.
Well, I'm not a professional.
Well, we are.
You are a professional, and I'm lucky to have snagged
We're
you.
pros.
It's called Amateur Hour because we thought it was going to be more amateur than it turned out. But if ever anything goes wrong, we have that fallback of it being called Amateur Hour.
Right, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I used to see you guys play like with Talons back in Sydney years ago.
Oh, yeah. I remember them.
How do you maintain your staying power?
I don't know, just bloody mindedness.
Yeah.
Lack of other enjoy doing it. Yeah, lack of other interests.
Do you get sick of each other?
Well, we get very sick of each other.
Because you're siblings.
Yeah.
I've tried to quit, but I figure I'd see him at Christmas Day. It'd be awkward, so it's maintained.
And how many years are we talking?
Almost 12. It'll be 12 on Christmas Day this year.
That's cute.
Yeah.
What else can you tell me? What are you working on at the moment?
I don't know what we're doing at the moment.
You just built a studio.
I'm building a recording studio at the moment out in the country.
Yeah.
So that's, I haven't been writing much. I'm just getting ready to do that after that's finished.
Which part of the country?
In Hurstbridge.
Oh yeah, I don't know where that is.
It's like
Up past Greensboro.
Yeah.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
That way?
I don't
40
either.
minutes that way.
Is that where you live?
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for making the trek.
It's okay.
I don't really know what else to talk to you about. I think you're excellent. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
Sorry about the interview.
Us.
Cool.